Hi and welcome to FilmSauce. I'm FilmSauce, and in this saucy video we're looking at Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, released in 2005. Directed by Tim Burton and written by John August, this film depicts the exact same thing as the last film, but with a Burton approach. Throughout this film I'll reward or negate source points, and at the end I'll add all the source points together to find out how saucy this movie really is. But now, let's jump into the chocolate river. The film starts off with us, the viewers, seeing how the chocolate is made and shipped out, with the shipping out being viewed by one Charlie Bucket, who I'm sure when he is older will become a good surgeon. Once again, Charlie Bucket is poor, as well as not faster, stronger, or smarter as the other children, as the narrator put it. Pretty harsh. Now we meet the Bucket family, the four grandparents, Bellatrix Lestrange, and Charlie's dad, who exists in the family, just to give Charlie a toothpaste lid to complete his own little chocolate factory. Now with Charlie we learn that Grandpa Joe used to work for Wonka, as proven by the grandparents. We quickly find out that this chocolate is a bit weird, as well as Wonka himself. Then we learn some stuff that doesn't really matter, and kind of just inflates the movie. -1 source point. Don't forget the chocolate spies, and also the fact that all the workers were fired, but the factory still works, seemingly without workers. Now in the morning we find out about the golden tickets, and immediately the first ticket is found by one Ken-looking fat child, Augustus, who continues eating chocolate. The second ticket is now found by one Veruca Salt. Now, how do you spell that?
Veruca, Veruca Salt.
Thanks, Veruca. Once again, the child doesn't look like a real breathing human, but now the parents do something and give Charlie a Wonka bar, which is a disappointment, but better than cabbage soup. The third ticket has now been found by Violet, who looks like a real human, and now she knows karate. Without even being able to breathe between tickets, the fourth one is found by one Mike TV, who is somewhat a disturbed child, but also kind of smart.
All you have to do is check the manufacturing dates, offset by weather, and the derivative of the Nikkei index. A retard can figure it out.
Now on the streets, Charlie finds a $10 bill and decides on a chocolate bar. Oh yeah, also instead of a Paraguay man faking a ticket, it's a Russian, but that doesn't really matter. It's only in one line. But who would have guessed? Charlie got the golden ticket. People are wanting to buy it from him, but Charlie runs home yelling about the ticket, exciting Grandpa, Joe, to jump out of bed and dance. The whole ticket section of the movie it felt a bit shorter and rushed than the original movie. It was just a bit too fast paced and rushed, so -1, source point. But Charlie introduces an interesting new problem to the film, with Charlie wanting money, saying he can sell the ticket for a lot, disappointing Grandpa, but it's a new, somewhat interesting problem that makes sense, so +1 source point. Charlie, though, is immediately bullied by Grandpa George into going, and I like how the other three grandparents actually feel like characters and not props, so +1 source point. All the ticket owners are now out front of the factory, but while they wait in front of the factory gate, I have one complaint. What happened to the chocolate spy? They were in Joe's dialogue, but not good enough to have a presence in the film. -1 source point. Now entering the factory, we meet up with a creepy puppet show which burns to a crisp, scarring everyone but Wonka, who is played by the guy from the hit movie Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Wonka says hello in an awkward way. He's very awkward in this film. But now they walk to the factory, where we immediately see that Wonka has a bit of a parent problem. But that doesn't matter, because now we see Candyland, where Wonka wants them to eat grass. Now we meet the Oompa Loompas, who are just midgets in red jumpsuits and have an interesting history. I have to negate 1 source point for that, though. It's a bit flawed to the previous Oompa Loompas. But to distract us from the Loompas, Augustus has now fallen into the river once again, being sucked up by a pipe with help from singing Oompa Loompas. Wonka and the visitors now walk over to the chocolate riverboat, but no scary scene, just a 10-second drop, followed up by another 10-second drop, which leads them to the most important room in the entire factory, where we see the everlasting gobstoppers that don't matter at all in this film. Unlike the 3-course gum dinner, which Violet eats once again, becoming blue and bigger than Augustus, much to Veruca's delight. But here to save the day are the singing Oompa Loompas, rolling Violet around to where she'll get juiced. They now walk to the next room, being the nut sorting room, where Mr. Salt talks about being in the nut business. Now watching the squirrels work, Veruca wants a squirrel, especially one of Wonka's squirrels, making Veruca mad, so she goes to get herself one, where we find out she is a bit of a bad nut. So once again she's put into the garbage, this time by squirrels. But now the Oompa Loompas are here to sing it all better. On to the next room, which is a glass elevator that takes them to the room with the weird TV camera shrink ray thing. Just like before, Mike uses the machine on himself to prove he is not an idiot. He's an idiot. Once again, the Oompa Loompas sing a song to make it better, but probably the best song just for the costumes. But hey, all the other children have been murdered and Charlie survived, winning because there was no vodka around. Wonka, Charlie and Joe enter the glass elevator, where they fly over the other children that lost and lives are potentially ruined, and they crash land into the Buckets' home, where the Buckets, found out that Charlie won the factory, but downside, no family allowed, so Charlie can be rich and never see his family again. Charlie gives up the factory because family, and the following months Charlie's family becomes happier and wealthier. Money truly buys happiness. Now Charlie, being a good boy and doing shoe labor, he finds Wonka, who kidnaps Charlie, taking him to Wonka's dad house. While Wonka has a dentist appointment, let me just say I do not like the father issues and Wonka's backstory. I kind of prefer Wonka being a mystery, so -1 source point. But now, Charlie takes up the chocolate factory deal only if his family is with him, and Wonka agrees so they can live happily ever after. The end. That was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, a film that's alright in my eyes, but hated and loved by some other people who don't matter. But let's see how it did in the source points. Charlie and Chocolate Factory gained a total of 2 source points, but there was some smelly catch-up because 4 points were negated, landing this reboot with -2 source points. And that was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. FilmSauce. Consider liking and subscribing, and maybe I'll see you again. Bye.